Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the second test of this Australia vs South Africa series. Here is the squad we're going to go with. We are going to be bringing in a few players. We're going to take out Lucas or Lugi Ngidi for Thomas Radley. He's a young prospect. He was the leading wicket taker in first class. We also decided to take out Zubair Hamza and bring in this guy called Olivier Cohen. He can open the batting, but he's also a wicket keeper. He has a fantastic average in his first class, and we're going to continue to reward him. Just because in the tour game off screen, in the very first tour game, he batted extremely well, and I should have played him in the first test, but unfortunately I didn't. And it looks like Australia have decided to make some changes. Obviously, Hazelwood would have been a forced out with his injury. But Australia have brought in a few players as Dick Gale goes out there in the very first over. Very disappointing. Patterson is back in. We'll give him that. And Wes Agar, I don't know why Wes Agar is getting a game. I honestly do not know where Patrick Cummins is. I'm assuming he's injured. Well, I hope he's injured because if Patrick Cummins can't get a game, it does say something. It kind of is a bit broken. And I mean, in 3 years' time, you'd probably assume Patrick Cummins at 20, I think he's about 25. He'd be nearly, 27, 28. Let's say he's near his 30s. He'd probably be one of the best, or if not the best bowler in the world at that point. So I really don't understand why he can't get a game, especially, no disrespect to Mitchell Starc, but he's getting on there with age as well, and I personally think Patrick Cummins is a far better bowler than Mitchell Starc is. As Australia have brought back in Alex Carey, which is good to see, so maybe he was injured, and Cameron Green, who is, in my opinion, one of the most overhyped prospects in our first-class format. I think he has potential, Cameron Green, but it's hard to judge Australian first-class cricket, and I know that the Australian first-class cricket is meant to be very good, but if you compare the Australian first-class cricket to county cricket, it's just in shambles. Most of the wickets that our players bat on are usually roads or usually wickets where it is generally batsman favoured, and this is just what Australians need to hear. Because there is a lot of Australians that look at the Australian first-class format and completely overrate it because it's very suited to batsmen. It's always been suited to batsmen in the last probably 10 years. Usually you do get inflated scores, like you'll get players who make hundreds who would not make hundreds at test level. There's this, like for example, there's a few players who I think would be absolutely ordinary at test level, like Daniel Hughes, for example. He's a very honest first-class player. He's an opener. He plays for New South Wales unless he's moved. But I personally think he would not be suited to test level. There's a handful of players like that. Probably a prime example is Moises Henriques. He's a very good first-class player, but again, I don't think he'd be up to playing test level. So, yeah, I just have a very strong opinion of our first-class format in Australia because it does get overhyped. And what my point is here is this Cameron Green guy he's about 19, or he'd be about 21 here because we are 3 seasons in. He in a real life first class format, as I talk over while we're playing, he has made a few big scores, and I personally think it's the same thing as Will Pukowski, except Cameron Green can bowl. He's a bit of an all rounder. He's not a fantastic all rounder, but he's a bit of an all rounder. Will Pukowski is one of those players that is similar to Cameron Green, except Will Pukowski had to take time off because he had mental health issues, which completely messed around his game. In fact, he was basically confirmed to get a test debut against Sri Lanka, or pretty much India, And then the whole thing where he wanted to step away from cricket just meant he couldn't get a game. Because, he would have played Test cricket. Cameron Green is sort of the same. A lot of the Australian media rate him very highly based off a handful. I say handful because he's only played a handful of first-class games. So you do have to be cautious of when you judge players coming into the domestic scene and getting big scores, because you could play 3 domestic games and let's say you average 70 or 80. If you get thrown into a test, you're going to get, 3 games you're playing first-class cricket and you get thrown into a test far too early and you completely play terribly. You're going to lose confidence in everything. A prime example is probably Nick Maddison, who had only played at least under 40 first-class games before he got a test debut. And they threw him in against South Africa from memory, and he was terrible. He completely shot his confidence for at least 2 years. Now he's come back to be a far better player, but that's because he's ruled himself out of test selection for the last 2 years. So he's obviously got his mindset. But that's just a little bit of a rant on the Australian first-class scene. I didn't mean to sidetrack you there, but I kind of wanted to say something when I saw Cameron Green in. I do think Cameron Green will probably feature in Test cricket for Australia, but I don't think he will feature in Test cricket when Australia play, hopefully, India in December of 2020. But as we do get onto this game, Milan again makes a 50 in the second innings. Unfortunately, he can't carry that on to a 100 because his strike rate is usually very good when he gets from 50s to 100s. Oliver Cohen is actually playing really well here. He's actually going to push the run rate a little bit. Same with Jacques Snyman. I do really rate Jacques Snyman. I think he's a perfect number 4. I think his average is in the 40s. He does get 50s, although I would like to see him get more 100s because I think he's only got 1 test 100. But Oliver Cohen and Jacques Snyman are hanging around a bit here. We actually do get a partnership of 135, which is a fantastic effort against Australia. And Cameron Green does get Snyman out. We now have Ruan Cronje. He's in his second test match. Let's see if Cohen can bring up a test 100. As Cronje goes out for 1. Oh, I always get nervous with a new ball. And he does. Cohen brings up his first test 100, I think in his second ever test. So that is very promising to see from Oliver Cohen. Unfortunately, he does get out shortly, and it seems like there is a bit of a batting collapse here. And we are going into the, what are we on, 160. This is going to be a very hard total to defend because Australia have obviously bowled well. Steve Smith, ironically, gets the final wicket when he rarely bowls for Australia now. Australia need 192 to win. This should be a very easy total to chase down with pretty much 4 full sessions to get the total. And we are going to set the aggressiveness to full defensive. Radley comes in and he gets Warner. There, I thought it was out, but not. Radley to Warner. And he bowls David Warner for 17. Thomas Radley gets another wicket. As Joe Burns and Marnus Labuschagne are in the order now. We're going to bring Maharaj on. Kesav Maharaj to Joe Burns. Oh, and it looks like it was dropped, but it mightn't have been. Radley to Burns. Misses. I don't want to say, look, Australia's going quite well here. 108 to win, 1 for 88. I cannot see how we are going to be winning this game. as Maharaj comes into Marnus Labuschagne. That's not out. He comes in again to Marnus Labuschagne, and that is not out as well. Mulder to Labuschagne, LBW, and it is. Australia have 2 for 89. Steve Smith is in as Joe Burns brings up 50. Mulder to Burns, bowled him. Australia 3 for 102. 2 quick wickets in a row. They do need 90 runs to win, so this is going to be extremely hard to defend. Radley to Smith. No, I thought it was a caught behind, but clearly not. Maharaj to Travis Head. Oh, and it just completely misses the keeper there. Very unfortunate, but we are going to bring Rabada back on. As Rabada to Travis Head. Bowls him. 59 to win. 6 wickets remaining. Surely Australia should be going well here. As Radley comes in, and I thought it was out again, but no. Rabada bowls Green out. 5 wickets to win and 47 runs to win. Could we see a epic batting collapse from Australia? But they are cruising, you'd say here, 35 to win. 32. Maharaj to Smith. Let's see what happens here. And Steve Smith is out for 29. 4 wickets remaining, 30 runs to win. This could be it's going to be an extremely close finish regardless. Maharaj to Mitchell Stark. It's not out. He's just an edge. Maharaj to Stark again. What is going to happen? Is that LBW? It is. 3 wickets remaining and 20 runs to win. Rabada to Carey. Not out. 17 to win. As Maharaj comes into Patterson. There's another chance in this over to Carey. Bowls him. Maharaj is cleaning up Australia. 2 wickets to win. Can we pull off the impossible and win when Australia were pretty much cruising at 1 for 88? At LBW, 1 wicket to win, 13 runs to win. Who's going to win it here? As Maharaj comes in to Alice. And that's it. South Africa are going to win one of the greatest tests of probably their overseas travels, to effectively have a total of 190 and defend it with 4 sessions and bowl Australia out. Fantastic bowling performance from Kesab Maharaj. But there's the statistics. Radley bowled well, Rabada bowled well, Mulder bowled well, all test, and I'll see you guys for the 3rd and final test.